Okay, so it's been exactly 2 weeks since I started using this 2020 MacBook Pro 13 base model as my main work machine, and I'm ready to give you the full review on Apple's latest product. It's honestly quite easy to come up with the review for this machine since everything mainly stays the same as last year's model, except for the keyboard, really. But today in this video, I want to paint a more comprehensive picture to help you make the decision on this laptop alone if you're trying to decide which MacBook or Ultrabook to purchase in 2020, or should you wait another year for something like the MacBook Pro 14 if there's gonna be one. The more I experience the 2020 MacBook Pro 13 and looking at its prices, which is currently $1,300 for the base model, the more I get the feeling that this is no longer the Apple that we knew. You see, if you put this 2020 MacBook Pro 13 on a scale with top flagships today, you would see that it only has a pretty average price tag compared to direct competitors like the XPS 13 or the Razer Blade Stealth. Apple usually price their products higher, if not much higher than their competitors. They are always one of the most, if not the most expensive products on the market, while lacking notable features or worthy specs. That's until 2020, when everything changes. Apple lowered the price of the MacBook Air, kept the same price for the 16-inch MacBook Pro while providing tons of impressive upgrades. And now with the 13-inch MacBook Pro, while a lot of people out there are upset that Apple are still selling their laptops in 2020 with the 8th gen Intel CPU, I think that if you're just looking at this base model alone, it's actually a very reasonably priced machine while also being equipped with very attractive features compared to its competitors. The display is one of the best examples for this. It has a resolution of 2560 x 1600, whereas other names in the market within the same price range, like Razer Blade Stealth or HP Spectre 13, only use Full HD panels. And clearly, the display quality of the MacBook Pro 13 is way superior, especially in terms of sharpness and smoothness. Every detail from images to text is full and crystal clear. You can't even see one pixel. Other than the top-of-the-line display, this 2020 MacBook Pro 13 also has many other selling points. The trackpad, for example. This Force Touch trackpad is superior in both its size and using experience. Its tracking ability is so accurate with every touch. The touch bar is also something that Windows laptops don't have. We used to complain about this touch bar because when it first came out, it considerably raised the price of the machine compared to previous models, while a lot of people find it not very useful at all, if not annoying. But now that price is no longer an issue, I'm starting to feel that this is a pretty handy toolbar. Adjusting brightness or volumes are both faster. Or if you're a pro user, you can customize the features of the touch bar to optimize it based on your needs and using habits. Meanwhile, the new keyboard setup also separated the escape key and the fingerprint sensor, so I no longer have any complaints about the touch bar. Talking about the keyboard, I like it. On paper, the key travel is very shallow, only 1 mm, but it provides good cushion while typing, and it's also very quiet, miles better than the butterfly keyboard, which alone was the reason that stopped a lot of people from buying previous versions of MacBook. But this is it. This officially marks the end of Apple's butterfly keyboard era. The MacBook speakers are still the best on the market. The ones in this MacBook Pro 13 is not as blissful to the ears as the ones equipped in the 16-inch version, but still, this stereo speaker system is still the best among Ultrabook lines. Finally, I'll share my thoughts on what everyone seems to care about the most: its performance and cooling. Usually, when a new laptop product comes out, it always comes with a new CPU model, partly to increase performance, but also to have that sense of upgrade to attract consumers. However, this 2020 version of the MacBook Pro 13 is still equipped with the same 8th gen Intel CPU. It doesn't sound that attractive, right? It's even less attractive when you find out that to have the 10th gen CPU version, you have to fork out an additional $500. It's not that I'm trying to defend Apple here, but in terms of actual using experience, the 8th gen Core i5 8257U CPU that I have here already provides very good performance. Apple actually fine-tuned it so that it utilizes up to 40 watts of power, stable at higher than 20 watts, so performance doesn't actually differ that much from the 10th gen CPU. I tried some video editing and 2D graphic designing, and they all worked very well with the same Iris Plus graphics. I know that you could say that similarly priced machines in 2020 have more powerful CPUs, faster RAMs, etc. But if you're looking for something like the MacBook Pro 13, it's likely that you're looking for something to do moderately intensive tasks with, and the base model of the 2020 MacBook Pro 13 executes that very well. I personally think that this is the best option for the majority of users who are looking to buy a Pro 13 because you would have a great using experience in a reliable machine for a very reasonable price. Whereas with the price of the 10th gen version, you're starting to see much better options on the Windows side. Yes, a lot of the things that I just talked about are still the same as last year's model. There's almost no upgrade except for the keyboard. So what? If it's still good and still serves you well, and you have a good laptop for a good price, then why complain? Cooling of this machine is also well handled by Apple. Single core clock speed is boosted up to a maximum of 3.9 GHz, and when I do some heavy rendering, multi-core still maintains at 2.6 to 3 GHz. No more throttling down to below base clock speed like before. Temperature goes up to 90 degrees Celsius at the highest when it performs heavy tasks. Otherwise, the device normally stays very cool, instead of randomly heating up to 100 degrees Celsius like the MacBook Air. This is definitely one area where the 2020 Pro 13 wins out over the MacBook Air 2020 if you're trying to decide between the two. To conclude, after many years of being complained by users for previous MacBook models, everything from the overheating problems to the sticky keyboard have all been fixed by Apple in this 2020 version of the MacBook Pro 13. Together with a pretty nice price tag, this is definitely gonna be a very worthy choice for macOS users or someone who's looking to make the switch. I can only hope that after winning consumers' favor back, Apple will continue to keep its prices at a reasonable level, instead of putting almost absurd prices on their products just for the brand like before. It would be very sad if you decided to wait for the MacBook Pro 14 and then next year, if it actually comes out, it's like $1,600 or $1,700, right? That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to hit that like and subscribe buttons. And if you have any more questions on the 2020 MacBook Pro 13, leave them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them. See you guys next time.